I'm sorry. There's a reason we all do this obsessively. Welcome back.
It's good to see you.
Nice to see you. So what's up with the I'm sorries, right?
I think that we don't even realize we're saying it half the time. It does seem to be a trend more with women than with men. And it's a lot of time, and it's fine to say I'm sorry. I'm all for apologizing and building goodwill. But what's happening is that women are over and unnecessarily apologizing just for general basic needs. I mean, let's pretend that there was like something sticking me in my back from this pillow. I could just say, oh, hey, this pillow has something poking me in the back. I'm gonna switch it out. But what happens is we say, I am so sorry. This is jabbing me in my back and I'm bleeding a little bit. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Can I switch this out? And I don't know if it's a habit that we've just gotten into, but we need to get out of it, and not for anything, but that this starts to really chip away at our own confidence, and it takes the value of an apology when we say it all of the time.
Right, right. So where do you think this stems from, or what kind of started this I'm sorry?
Well, what's so interesting, Jacqueline, is that we're saying I'm sorry when it's things that are happening to us. That if we get bumped into, or if someone falls on us, if someone steps on our foot, we'll say, oh, I'm sorry. And I think people are wanting to be polite and cordial and be good neighbors, but now it's transcended to the point where we're apologizing for putting down our own boundaries and needs, and apologizing for breathing, for our mere existence, when sometimes you can just move forward with the conversation or state what you need. But what more concerns me, honestly, is when we're apologizing for our wants and for healthy boundaries in our life, that we're apologizing when we're taking care of ourselves.
Right, and this is especially something that I think is very important in relationships too, right? I mean, if things get physical for women or men out there, I mean, you shouldn't be the one apologizing.
A lot of times we're so concerned with the other person, which I love that. Let's be considerate people, that we don't want to upset the apple cart, and we buffer things with an I'm sorry, thinking that that's going to make everything all right. Let's take, for example, that you have a child and someone's babysitting and you notice that they're not changing the diaper enough. You'll say, I'm so sorry, but can you change the child's diaper more because they're getting, we need to change the diaper more. The baby's getting diaper rash. You don't need to apologize for your needs and your wants. And also, by saying I'm sorry is not going to make them not be upset with you. We cannot control how other people feel. And some folks think if they say I'm sorry, that's going to wipe away and whitewash the fact that we're giving people information they don't want to hear. And it doesn't work that way.
Sure.
They're still going to hear the bad news anyway.
And let's just reiterate, you're not saying, don't apologize. So kind of tell us the difference.
Well, there are certainly absolutely occasions where we want to be sorry. That if we have wronged someone, if there's been a traumatic situation, if there's been a great disappointment, if we are at fault, that we really do need to take ownership over a situation. When saying I'm sorry will truly make it better. When you're being empathetic to someone, I'm sorry this is going on. I'm sorry this has been a frustrating day. But it's also not a helpful phrase a lot of times. It just doesn't get us anywhere. It's better to say, I wish this wasn't happening for you right now. I can appreciate that this is frustrating. I wish there was something else we could do about it. Or maybe say I'm sorry once, but then transition to verbiage that at least starts moving our mind into a different place, because I'm sorry doesn't really get me anywhere. Of course, it's super appropriate for sympathy or very hard times, but after that, when we've said it, let's say something else that helps us. Like,
let's get more creative with our verbiage. It's true, I agree.
Thank you is another good one. Let's say that someone's running late, and when they show up, instead of, I'm so sorry, oh my gosh, my kids would not get in the car, and oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, just think, thank you all so much for waiting. Oh, thank you so much for being patient. What a morning, and let's begin. Instead of now we're making everybody sort of getting dragged down into this, let's practice a place of gratitude. Because when someone's, okay, so let's imagine that you and I hanging out and I'm over apologizing, now you've got to make me feel better.
Right, sure.
So I'm sorry, Jacqueline, okay, Julie, it's fine, but I'm sorry, okay, it's fine. No, but okay, I get it.
So it's difficult to move beyond that, right? I mean, you don't want to rake someone.
Well, you're putting also the power and the work on the other person who now has to make you feel better. because they're apologizing for something. It's
Now
like,
they're sorry and you're sorry and everyone's sorry,
right? It's not a fun circle.
It's a vicious cycle.
I'd rather you be in a cycle of appreciation. No, thank you. Oh, I'm so thankful for you. No, thank you. I'd rather that.
Right. That's
While
cute.
annoying, I think that's fantastic. Versus always apologizing for everything. And you just need to be conscious of it. Sometimes it's about being self-aware and realizing, wow, I mean, I used to do it all the time till it took a couple, probably years, let's not lie, probably a couple of years of people saying, do you realize you start a lot of things with I'm sorry? And I'm like, oh my gosh. Well,
And you didn't say I'm sorry to that, right?
I-
I'm sorry, do I?
probably back then I did. You know, oh, I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry, right.
But it's about saying, well, what's triggering that? Where's that coming from? Because we should feel confident enough that our needs matter and that our boundaries are valid enough to stand in our own and simply state it and leave it for what it is.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Julie. So to learn more about Julie, you can head to 7602coach.com. And of course, there's much more to come on Great Day after the commercial break. Stick with us.